In this video, we're going to merge columns to a data frame with an equivalent observation structure. So in this particular case, our new data frame has the same 150 observations as our SE process data frame. However, it has new columns of data. And so there are three different ways we can merge this. First, if we don't have any matching columns in the data frames, we can merge on the rows. Second, when we have columns of data with the same name and the same data, we can merge on the column name. And then third, if we have a column of data with the same data, but with a different name, we can merge on that column using different names. So our first example, if we take a look at the structure of our SE process data frame, and then we take a look at the structure of our MPMA1 data frame, we see that both have 150 observations. Our SE process data frame has 6 variables, and our MPMA1 data frame has 2 variables. So in this particular case, the rows of respondents in our SE process data frame are the same respondents in our MPMA1 data frame. So the 150 respondents in our SE process data frame also have music aptitude scores and music perception scores that we want to merge to the data frame. So if we take a look quickly at the head of our SE process data frame, and then we take a look at the head of our MPMA1 data frame, we see all the way on the left-hand side that we have numbers for our rows. So we can merge on those rows. So in order to do that, let's create a new data frame. We'll call it SE MPMA1 merge 1. And so in order to make this merge, we're going to use the merge function. We'll first indicate the data frame that we want to merge to, which is our SE process data frame. Then we want to indicate the data frame that we're merging from, which is our MPMA1 data frame. And then we're going to use the by argument. And here we're going to specify what we're going to merge on. So the row numbers all the way on the left-hand side represent the column 0. So we'll merge by 0. We'll run this command. And now if we take a look at the structure of the new data frame, we see that we have 150 observations across 9 variables. Now an artifact of merging on the rows is that if you see the first variable of the new data frame, we have row.names. So in this case, we don't need that variable, so we can remove it. So let's remove it using the within function. So here, we'll take the data frame. We'll use the within function. We'll specify the data frame again. We'll use the remove function. Then we'll specify row.names. So let's run this command. And now if we take a look at the names in our new data frame, we see that we've removed the variable and we now have our 2 data frames merged. So the second example is that we can merge on columns with the same name. So again, to compare our data frames, let's take a look at the structure of our SE process data frame. And then let's take a look at the structure of our MPMA2 data frame. You'll see that we have a participant ID variable for our second data frame. So one way that we can merge this is that we can create a new participant ID variable within our SE process data frame, which contains the same exact data, and then we can merge on that variable. And we can do this because we know we have equivalent observations. So the same 150 people in the SE process data frame represent the same 150 people in the MPMA2 data frame. So let's create a variable of the same name. We'll call it participant ID. And then using the asInteger function, we'll create 150 rows. So 1 through 150. Now let's add this vector to the data frame, and we can use the cbind function to do that. So within our SE process data frame, we'll use the cbind function. We'll call on our data frame, which is the SE processed, and then we'll specify the name that we want to call the variable. So participant ID, the vector that we just created, participant ID. We'll run the command. And now if we take a look at the structure of our data frame, you'll see that we've appended the participant ID variable to the data frame. So in order to make it a little bit cleaner, we like to always have that nominal ID variable at the beginning of the data frame. So let's move the position of the variable. We'll call on our data frame again. Again, we'll specify the data frame. And then here, let's do index positions. So we want to keep all the rows, so we'll leave that blank. And then we'll use the concatenation function, and then we want to specify the order of the variables. So here, participant ID is in the 7th indexing position. We want that to be first, and then we'll specify the remainder, 1 through 6. Now if we take a look at the structure of our data frame, we'll see that we have our participant ID added to the data frame in position 1. So again, now if we take a look at the structure of the 2 data frames, you'll see that we have the same variable across both data frames, and both of them have the same name. So we can merge on this column now. So let's store this in a new object. We'll call it SE MPMA2 merged to data frame. Again, we'll use the merge function. We'll call on the data frame that we want to merge to, which is SE processed. Now we want to indicate the data frame we're merging from, which is the MPMA2 data frame. Again, we're going to use the by argument. So here we'll specify participant ID. We'll run the code. And now if we take a look at the structure of our new data frame, we see that we've merged the 2 variables into our data frame. We have 150 observations across 9 variables. Okay, in our last scenario, we can merge on columns with different column names. So let's take a look at the structure again of our SE process data frame. And now let's take a look at the structure of MPMA3. You'll see here that we have the same data in the first variable, an integer variable from 1 to 150. However, here it's called student ID instead of participant ID. So because the data is exactly the same, we can still merge on this even though there's a different column name. So let's store this in an object called se_mpma3 merged 3. Again, we'll use the merge function. So here we need to specify an X data frame and a Y data frame because we specifically need to specify the names of the columns according to the data frame. So here, let's specify X is our SE process data frame. Y is going to be our mpma3 data frame. Now we need to specify the name of the variable in the X data frame. So by X. So the name of the column in our X data frame is participant ID. And then we need to specify by Y. And the name of the column in our Y data frame is student ID. We'll run the command. Now if we take a look at the structure of our new data frame, we see that we've merged 150 observations across the 9 variables, and we've retained the name of the column in our X data frame, participant ID. Now if we wanted to retain the name of the variable in our Y data frame, all we'd have to do is switch the assignment of the X and Y. So we would assign mpma3 to X, and we'd assign SE process to Y. And if we were to do that, we would retain the name student ID as opposed to participant ID.